Of course. This is a classic and painful story that highlights a critical flaw in how many people approach gig economy jobs like Uber and Lyft. Let's break down why Dave Ramsey said the California man was working for free. The math of working for free. The core of the problem is a misunderstanding of gross revenue versus net profit. 1. The debt. The man owes $2,800 per month just for his car payments. This is a fixed cost he has to cover before he's made a single dollar in profit. 2. The earnings. Let's assume he's a full-time driver. A typical Uber driver's gross earnings can vary wildly, but for argument's sake, let's say he grosses $4,500 per month before expenses. 3. The profit calculation. Gross revenue, $4,500. Car payment, debt, minus $2,800. Remaining, $1,700. At first glance, $1,700 seems like income. But it's not. This $1,700 now has to cover all the other costs of driving. Gasoline could easily be $400 minus $700 per month. Insurance. Rideshare insurance is more expensive, likely $250 minus $400 per month. Maintenance and repairs. Oil changes, tires, brakes. At least $150 minus $300 per month. Vehicle depreciation. The car is losing value with every mile. This is a real, albeit hidden, cost. Taxes. As an independent contractor, he must pay self-employment tax, approximately 15.3%, on his profit. He needs to set aside a chunk of that remaining money for the IRS. Once you subtract these additional costs from the remaining $1,700, his actual take-home pay is likely zero, or even negative. He is using all his income to service the debt and expenses of the car, leaving nothing for himself or his family. In essence, he is driving hundreds of hours a month to make money that immediately gets transferred to the bank and the gas company. He is working to make his car payment, not to make a living. Why did this happen? The common traps. This situation is unfortunately common and stems from a few key mistakes. 1. Financing a new, expensive car for rideshare. To attract riders, drivers often feel pressure to have a new, nice, and reliable car. This leads them to finance a vehicle they can't afford, with a staggering monthly payment. They fall for the low monthly payment trap on a 6 or 7-year loan. 2. Misunderstanding the true cost of operation. Many drivers only think about gas. They don't properly account for insurance, maintenance, tires, and the massive cost of depreciation. A new car loses value fastest in its first few years, and Uber driving accelerates that loss by piling on the miles. 3. Chasing incentives and bonuses. Uber's business model often relies on luring drivers with sign-up bonuses and surge pricing, which can create a false impression of high, sustainable earnings. When things return to normal, the math no longer works. 4. The asset illusion. They think the car is an asset. In reality, for an Uber driver, the car is a rapidly depreciating tool that comes with massive liabilities, debt, operating costs. What Dave Ramsey would advise. Dave Ramsey's advice would be blunt and straightforward, based on his 7 baby steps. 1. You are broke. Admit that this is a financial emergency. The car is sinking you. 2. Sell the cars. This is the non-negotiable first step. He would say you must sell the car, even if you have to come up with cash to cover the difference between the sale price and the loan balance, an upside-down loan. The financial bleeding must stop immediately. 3. Get a beater. Use a cheap, reliable used car that you can buy with cash for a few $1,000s. The goal for Uber is to have a car with no payments so your earnings are actually profit. 4. Take on a real job temporarily. He would likely advise getting a traditional W-2 job with predictable hours and pay to create a stable income while you work your way out of debt. Deliver pizzas in your beater car if you want a driving job. The economics are often better. 5. The debt snowball. Take the money you were throwing at the car payment and attack your other debts, smallest to largest. Summary table. The reality of his situation. Metric the illusion, what he might see, the reality, what Dave Ramsey sees. Monthly gross $4,500. I'm making good money. $4,500. This is not your pay. Car payment, just a business expense, minus $2,800. This is the problem. Remaining after payment $1,700. My income. $1,700. This must cover all other costs. Other costs, gas, ins, maint, often underestimated, minus $1,000 to minus $1,500 plus. Actual take-home pay assumed to be the $1,700, $200 to minus $300 he's paying to work. The car an asset and a tool for work. A massive, rapidly depreciating liability. The bottom line is that the gig economy can be viable, but only if you control your costs ruthlessly. A $2,800 monthly car payment is a financial death sentence for an Uber driver, and Dave Ramsey was right to call it working for free.